Korea's mobile app developing ecosystem has been evolving from like startups to like conglomerates.
The world is changing. AI's come on the scene.
Winning the good fight for Google really is about how do we empower publishers to have the right tools to think about their users.
I think so much of it is all about long-term value.
Honestly, most of the time AdMob is winning, but there's no real competition.
I would like to have your perspective, because Korea is the market where you're watching the most, but it's also very sensitive to ad quality issues. I mean, what is the difference between Korea and rest of the world? What do we need to know? Because a lot of companies are saying part of their expansion plan and scaling is Korea.
Yeah, true. So first of all, I want to share that Korea's mobile app developing ecosystem has been evolving from like startups to like conglomerates.
Yeah.
So imagine T-Mobile is monetizing one of their membership loyalty apps. They'll be super sensitive on ad creatives. They want to manage the user's experience. Nowadays, there are a lot of like big companies that wants to monetize their apps, but then they also want to be super curious, sensitive about their ad creative qualities. That's why it matters a lot. And like for Google, what we speak to the market is that we are investing heavily on managing ad creative qualities.
That's a very important point, because a loyalty app, that is about creating loyalty and retention. So a bad ad experience, that wrecks that model completely. Brands are looking at ad quality, and I think that is our segue to also the brand guardian that I'm hearing about, brand safety. Where does that figure? Maybe you can unpack that a little bit.
So T-Mobile was an example, but we are also working with like SK Telecom, which is one of the largest telco company in Korea, and also TOS, as we've met before. They're a
Great
fintech company.
Yeah.
Like, reliability matters, and like what type of ads is shown in the inventory matters a lot to the society. So like, as you mentioned, brand guardian, brand safety features that's provided from AdMob and Google Ad Manager. It's been really a welcoming product to those teams, and they are really eager to test it out. Even like it cuts off some of the performance, as long as they can maintain the long-term positive user experience, publishers are willing to test it.
And what it cuts off, again, we have metrics for that. And we have metrics to start watching, like ad duration, I think was one of them.
Yes.
You know, blended metrics I never thought about when we're looking at the quality of an ad experience and the quality of an ad. So now we're starting to measure these.
Right. If you think about any like hyper casual games, a random user download and plays the game for like, let's say a quarter. That's been long enough. But let's say for TOS, it's a fintech app. Once a user like commits to use it, he's gonna use it. He or she is gonna use it for like forever, right?
Yeah.
So retention matters a lot, and I think that's why for those publishers, even I got some cutoff in my revenue, immediate revenue, that doesn't matter a lot.
Because the LTV
Yes.
is what matters.
What matters is the long-term LTV and their retention. And I think Google has been investing heavily and making a good traction in those areas.
So a publisher who heard the news and understands what it means for their business, what of everything that was unpacked, what do you think is like the one thing, flip the switch on this one, this will make the biggest difference to start?
One of the news that was shared was that Google is implementing features to like scan all the ad creatives for the third-party bidders, and also tagging the user IDs on creatives to see which user was exposed to which ad creatives and so on. I think those kind of features were kind of like blockbusters to me.
Okay.
And I'd be like super happy to bring those back to my publishers.
Very good. Yeah, I was intrigued by that, recommending ads based on the ads you've shown. So you can have a recommendation about the probability of showing that ad as opposed to maybe blocking it. Well, I'm excited, and it's a deal maybe on that interview with TOS, right? Okay, because that is a cool company indeed. Monetizing with ads as a fintech, that is bold, that is brave. And so are you. It was a pleasure to see you.
Good to see you back.
Thank you. This one marks, for me, the beginning of a real embracing of sustainable growth.
Yes.
Which we've been talking about for years, but something's happened. What's the catalyst here that we're actually going to go that path?
Yeah, well, I think a couple of things have happened. One is that the world is changing. AI's come on the scene.
Yes.
Creating is easier. The bar is a little bit lower on that front. But the thing that comes to mind now is, well, there's some discovery debt. How do I make sure that whatever I'm creating and putting out the world can be found? But that also means that there's more churn risk. So if I'm putting all this effort into launching these products and it's harder to be discovered, I need to hold on to every user I have.
Yes.
And so long-term value becomes a metric that we need to keep front and center.
And part of that long-term value is understanding that there is an impact on the bottom line that is real, that being a good steward, that having good ad quality will impact the bottom line, will not lose the revenue. It will sustain it. It will grow it.
Yes. I think there's always the question you have as a business owner. Do I want the money today, good money right away, or do I want great money for the long term? And you have to understand where that trade-off is. I think many developers are in the place where they're willing to evaluate that a little bit closer. And to your point, ads quality makes a really big difference. We heard the joke today. If you have a super high CTR, that might sound good in the short term. Where does that leave you in the long term?
Yes.
And I think the other thing too is there's something about keeping the ecosystem healthy. Users have a lot of options today. Don't you want them to stay in your app, in the app's ecosystem overall, and make that a place that people find enjoyable and the experience is a positive one?
Because the competition is there. And I mean, with AI,
exactly.
How can you beat that? So attention is scarce. We knew that one already, but now it seems to just be so much more important and critical to understanding this.
Yeah.
Of all the announcements today, if you had to point to one and say, that's where if a publisher did that or focused on this would be this would be the one. This would be the one to click on or to activate because it would have the most impact. What would it be?
That's a good question. It's a bit technical, but probably the new SDK.
Okay.
I think there's something to be said about having a really strong foundation that sets you up for the future and a really good SDK. Now, I mean, you've heard all the announcements about what it brings to the table. Again, it's a bit boring, perhaps not the most exciting announcement, but it's one of those foundational ones. I'm doing a home renovation now. The most important part of the home renovation is behind the walls work. It's the plumbing, it's the electrical work. We have a 100-year-old house. We need to make sure that all of that works well.
Yes.
I feel like the SDK is similar. You need to have the right foundation. The rest of the house you can beautify over time, but a strong foundation makes everything else better.
It's part of the app experience. You're going to be judged on latency. You're going to be judged on crashes. You're going to be judged on ad quality. I think the real thing to come out of this show is that guess what? Your product, you are the product. So that if something goes wrong at any level, it's going to impact your business. There's no separation anymore. The app and the experience, they are the same.
Yeah, totally agree.
But requires a mindset shift. I mean, what would you say to publishers who are on the fence about accepting this? Because, I mean, we built an industry on really thinking about just very smart UA. And we haven't really gotten to a point where we're talking about building smart for the longer term.
Yeah, the reality is that UA does still matter, but piecing that together with monetization so you have the right flywheel and you build the right model that sets you up for success. I've talked to many partners today and over the years, and every app is different. And I think that's something we also need to recognize. So dialing into what are the features, the capabilities, what's the metrics that are top of mind for you that you need to solve for your specific app, and then dialing into where we can help you with that is probably the best part of the conversation to have.
It's a process. It's a journey. It's going to be a learning curve.
Yeah.
Well, it was, I think, an inspiring discussion, not just talking with you, but overall the signs that it's a sea change.
Yes.
You get that feeling, right? That you're going to look back at this moment and say, yes, I was here. I was part of this, right?
Yes. It's a new day.
It's a new day. I like that. I like your attitude, Annie. You were cool.
It's so nice to meet you, Peggy.
Very much so. Mutual.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm passionate personally about ad quality. When I heard the motto, win the good fight, that is powerful. So,
Very powerful.
So how are you turning that into, that's the strategy, but it needs tactics, it needs tools.
Absolutely.
What do they look like at Google?
Well, I would say winning the good fight for Google really is about how do we empower publishers to have the right tools to think about their users. Because at the end of the day, monetization is a key part of
Yes.
being a publisher, and you can't get away from that. But you can't just like let things happen where all these ads start to take over, and then you have users that start to leave, and you don't know what's happening
Because they see it as the ad experience and the app experience.
Absolutely, and it's hard to blur those. There's no blurred lines anymore between the ad experience and the app experience. So I think what we're trying to help publishers with is, instead of just thinking about just my ads and then just my users, it's really connecting the two together and saying, okay, not only will we help you understand what's happening with your users with simple things like which buyers you're working with, or like how are you pricing formats or things like that, but we're also really focused on the quality piece. The quality is like the critical part of the winning the good fight part. I think a lot of publishers now are starting to see that, and they need the right tools to get there. So I think part of it is, how do we help them get rid of the ads that are trying to like elicit bad experiences, and then at the same time, like, how do we help buyers and publishers connect together so that they are telling buyers what they want, right? Maybe they want shorter ads, maybe they want longer ads, maybe they want,
or maybe they just want to control it. It can be, there can be a level of like, I'll accept a certain level of annoying ads, where you do have to search for the X to close it, but not all of them. And so part of it is the control, but another is the mentality. And I thought that was a very important part of what you're bringing out there, because they want to win the good fight.
Exactly.
But they have to convince people. And that comes down to saying, does blocking a bad ad impact my revenue?
Exactly.
And
CTR filtering, which does block a lot of those disruptive ads, it will have like estimated revenue impact. And we've proven that with the alpha, where publishers are like, oh wait, great, I can actually get quality ads and I can keep revenue. This is great. I don't have to sacrifice, my revenue for this. And I think the more we do that, we are fighting the good fight, where we're saying, publishers, you know what? Don't worry about like only focusing on revenue. You can have good users that you keep, and you don't have to keep buying users, and that's the key
and they
part.
Can't. They don't have the budget for it. So it's like, you break this ad experience, you break your budget. It's that simple.
And I love what you said earlier, which is the app experience and the ad experience are the same.
And you brought out in your presentation, the numbers from Deloitte and others, which is like, bad ad experience, I'm going straight to the app store, and I'm going to tell the world. You get a 1-star review, and it keeps going. How is this going to actually take shape, for the publisher audience out there? It's like, okay, I get this. I understand. Good ads, good for my bottom line. But where do they start?
I think publishers need to, take a look at what type of ads am I actually getting in my app. And so I think it starts with understanding both the ad experience that they are actually serving, and then I think understanding the content too, because their content is also part of the ad quality. So I think that's the first place I would start. And then I really start to understand, what is that trade-off that's in my head that I'm so afraid of even crossing? Because if you don't know what that number is, then you're never going to make the steps towards actually making change. And maybe you don't really have to know that number, but I think that's AdMob's job to help publishers figure that out, where maybe like we can't, make the trade-off for you, but we can at least tell you what we think the impact's going to be.
Best practices, or what's based on your ad. One thing that also stuck with me, which I think is very interesting, it's not necessarily about ad quality, but the ad formats that are going to be coming. I mean, like banners make a comeback in a big way.
It's the biggest comeback story of any format and any like.
I was like, banners. I remember those. They said they were out, remember? But now they're. And why are they going to be back in? I mean, explain that.
I think a lot of publishers saw banner as just like a means to an end, kind of in a way. And I think banners are now becoming something where, you can actually have meaningful banner experiences within your content and within your app experience. And it's becoming more of a tool. Like, the sizing is great because it's not intrusive.
You can just like move it around on the screen wherever you want.
You can move it around.
So smart,
I think it's become very adaptive. And so I feel like publishers are like, you know what? I can have an ad experience, but it could be something that's like blended in.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's made a
I like that,
comeback. Yeah.
going with the flow. So it was
Yeah,
awesome chatting with
it was
you, and
great
I will
chatting with you.
continue the
Yes,
conversation.
absolutely. We should
Because
definitely
we have to continue. It is
Yes.
the fight to continue.
Absolutely. We got to keep winning the good fight.
You're on.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Really struck me was how it all fits together. We're not just talking about a flywheel anymore. We're building one. I think that's exciting.
Yep. I think so much of it is all about long-term value, right? Like it's about retention. It's no longer about just acquiring as many users as possible and having them potentially churn, because that's going to go and hurt your business. So it's all about making sure that whoever does download your app stays in your app, and you're creating the best experience through ads and monetization with your app experience overall, because that is what's going to go and drive long-term value.
And you, I mean, as head of partnerships, there were publishers, of course, in the roundtables, in the panels, talking about this and how it like all fits together, and how much of this is about a mindset. I mean, we knew this before, but I think between the mindset change and the advance of the tools, it's easier now to think about, well, how do I measure if I'm on the path to sustainable growth? I mean, how should they be looking at this to say, you know, gets me to my goal? Because the goal now is longer term. It's a different perspective.
Yeah. The goal has essentially changed, right? Like it's all about, much more about how do I go and make sure that I am retaining my partners more than I am getting more into downloading my app, right? So I think a lot of that has been such a big mind shift because it's only happened in the past couple of years where you're like, oh, what I used to go and do isn't working anymore. So now I need to go and figure out, how do I make the best quality experience for my app and my ads to go and drive that retention overall. So I think it's been challenging because you do have some people who are like, they find it a little bit more difficult that like something that's worked for 20 years isn't working anymore, right? But now we're at a different state, and now we're here trying to go and say, we're here to partner with you, and we're here to educate you here with you, and we're here to be on this journey with you to show you, here's a new strategy. Even though your old strategies may not have worked, we're here to try to build something new together.
So they have the goal of a retention first growth, and that is the goal. But to know you're on the right path, where does the feedback come in for publishers from what Google has announced and the overall path to sustainable growth?
Yeah, so it all goes back to like the 3 pillars that we're all trying to build towards, right? It's stability, which is with our next gen SDK, 17% smaller and 27% faster. It is the ad review control center, where you have a ton of features where it auto filters already things that ads that have like really high click-through rate, so it protects your user experience. And then you have the 3rd pillar,
which is the ad quality itself.
Which is the ad quality.
Important.
Yes, exactly.
It's so core.
Yes.
I mean, it's absolutely the beginning and ending. It powers the flywheel, basically.
Exactly. So if you have a poor ad experience, it ruins everything else, because users are no longer differentiating between your app and your ads. So if you have good ads and it's paired within your app itself, then you're creating a better experience. You're not causing users to churn, and that is what's going to go and create your long-term user value.
And I thought what was interesting is it's nearly beyond human comprehension to know about the ad quality. So the idea that you can recommend ads based on ads shown, or you understand what a publisher has been blocking, says like, so you'll probably want to block this as well. I think that's really helpful.
Yeah.
I have a long connection with AdMob. I've been working with them since 10 years now.
Oh, wow.
So I monetize all my apps with them. So they're very nice to me. They always invite me for these events. So I'm privileged and excited to be here all the time.
Okay. So one thing that dropped during the event I thought was interesting is just like marking the end of thinking short term. Was that something that for you was an aha moment, or have you been recognizing that and working towards that and thinking about retention as the metric that matters?
Yeah. So all my years working with them, they always comes up with something new. They know where the issues lies, right? Say for example, if I come say, hey, I have some issues with this app, like low retention, they come up with some UI UX consultation. hey, do this. We tested an A/B testing with some other app that it's proven results, so you can try to implement. Those are the things I learn from these events. So whenever I come, they want to present something new. They know me. They know my weaknesses are where I'm lacking. They want to optimize, make sure I'm working on the right track. They always comes up with something new. I think that's what makes me come and learn more, connect with people, and see what's working and what's not working. I think that's very important.
We did learn what was new. We have ad quality, we have CTR filtering.
Yeah.
If you're at that level in engineering, a little bit geeky, we've got announcements around the SDKs. What was it that matters the most for you, that you're saying that this is most important for my business?
Yeah, just like you said, right? All those optimizations that they're doing, every time they iterate, okay, what is working, what is not working. Now, when you heard that like they're coming with CTRs and also the upgraded platform for third-party users, that's what's important to me, because there's a lot of manual work involved right now. So adding those things minimizes that. Instead, we can work on optimizing, okay, what is the floor level that we need to focus on? There's so many elements like that. So adding to that, the way they conduct these experiments and pick some users, some developers, and do like A/B testing and then share those results, that's what matters to me.
So that's just it. You say they're listening, and we have this opportunity, we have this platform to listen to you. What feature would you like to see that you didn't see announced yet? I'm just curious what your Google wish list would be.
Honestly, most of the time AdMob is winning, but there's no real competition. They just add it, but we wanted to see practically how the bidding conducts, who is winning and who is not winning. I think that kind of data is really helpful for us, because they come up with, hey, work with this third-party network, add them and see. But at the end of the day, the show rate, the bids that are winning are very less. Most of the time, AdMob wins. So we wanted to see if there is equal fair share of participation and that revenue share. That I think that really elevates the competition bidding, and then it improves the eCPM and overall revenue.
Okay.
I believe that's something we wanted.
So
to
more
see.
transparency to understand what's really winning.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they're listening.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll happen.
Yeah.
But thanks so much, Venkata, for your
Thank you,
thoughts
Peggy.
and for your views.
I appreciate you. You're so grateful to you. See you. The way you interact and then the way that you conduct these events. I really privileged to work with you.
Well, thank you so much. Privileged to have the interview.
Thank
so
you.
It's mutual.